Pain, part two. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tailgate Talk. We're your hosts, David and Nick. Nick, say hi to the people.
Hi.
Yep. So, if you didn't know, the streak is over. Clemson lost to South Carolina this past weekend, 31-30. Um, Clemson Tigers in a bit of pain. Nick and I obviously distressed. I'm trying to laugh through it. Nick's looking like he's about to cry. Uh, But it was a tough day for the Tigers. Nick, do you want to say anything about it?
No, it sucked. Last home game as a student, wanted to go out on top, but something needs to exchange on offense. I don't I don't think it was completely DJ's fault, but he did not play well. Um, he's thrown for 198 yards total in two games against South Carolina. That's 99 each. That's just not going to do it. There's really no like I'm trying to just get through it. It's nothing else that like you can say like they sucked in the second half. Um, they kept South Carolina in the game with the turnovers that we knew were going to be a problem going into it. Just had to focus on not turning the ball over. The kickoff it was a good play call, but we didn't need to do that there. And why put Maffa, who's not used to returning kicks, in that situation? Why not put Antonio Williams, who oddly enough then fumbled later in the game, but maybe Will Taylor. Actually, I think Will Taylor was hurt.
I mean, you can make that point, but in the end, it's like you really didn't need to do that. We just got a big momentum swing with the safety. You
We gave it
um
right back.
you go ahead and you get the ball back, go ahead and put a drive together. You already know you're going to get decent field position because they're kicking off from the 20 instead of the 35. So I would have even liked if they when they did that, I would have liked it if they faked the handoff to Maffa and let Shipley then go because it looked like he had one guy to beat at that point off the side. But
It
yeah, I
wasn't
mean
like
it's not necessarily the play call. It's just this is the what is this now fifth straight game that Clemson's had three turnovers. It's since they've had three turnovers every game since the bye week. That's just not winning football. I mean, they've gotten around it. We were kind of thinking that this is one of those teams that has the talent to um surpass that. But when you play with fire, eventually you're gonna get burned.
and they deserved it. It
Yeah. I
Ball
mean,
security is
look,
one of the
looking at
things
this
that
game, looking at this game, you've got Will Shipley going for 132 yards, averaged just under 9 yards a carry. DJ put in another 50 yards, 4 yards a carry. Phil Maffa averaged 6 yards a carry. Kobe Pace averaged 4 yards a carry on his two carries. I mean, the offense was moving the ball when they were running the ball. 237 yards total, two touchdowns on the ground. Why is it that we were in the fourth quarter and Will Shipley gets two touches? Two touches. I'm honestly at a bit of loss of words on how you do that because I'm looking back at it and there are definitely some drops, definitely some bad pass protection, definitely some missed throws on DJ. I mean, the whole offense in the passing game sucked yesterday. Absolutely sucked. So why don't you, when you've got 5 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go, and you can start putting a drive together to just go down? You only need a field goal because your defense is playing well enough that if you don't give them short yardage to go to, they can, hold out. And they did. They came up with stop after stop to try and get the ball back to the offense, and the offense just kept giving it away.
yeah, it just I don't I can't even like comprehend what we were thinking in the second half when it came to play calling. coming into the game, you knew that you were just gonna have to run the ball in South Carolina because they can't stop it, and we did that for the first three quarters. But for whatever reason, we got cute with it. It's definitely more frustrating because it is to who we lost the streak to who they are to us, and that was a game that I feel like they should have we should have won. Um, it was just it's tough to swallow, and it sucks because walking back from the stadium after the game, South Carolina fans they forgot how it is to win, and it's nothing's more evident when you got people yelling obscenities at young children, and it was a classless way to win. And I'm all for rivalry. I talk a lot of crap, and I'm all for it. But talk crap to people that can defend themselves. Don't talk crap to. I literally was walking up the hill like after the game, and an 8-year-old girl and her mom and siblings were right next to me, and a bunch of the fans were starting to like talk crap to them. I was like, dude, like talk to me, like talk to a student who can talk back and can defend. Don't do that. And honestly, it goes for both sides. If anyone's doing that, shame on you. Like just if you're gonna talk crap, know who you're talking crap to, and then that's like I said, I encourage it, but not to little kids and their moms and stuff like that. It's just uncalled for.
Yep, totally agree. I mean, I'll give South Carolina their due. They were insane when it comes to passing the ball. Spencer Rattler played very well, threw for over 300 yards, some big plays. Um, so not taking anything away, like South Carolina did what they needed to do, and Clemson did not. That's
Yeah,
the short run of it. South Carolina capitalized on the opportunities that they had to. Clemson didn't. And that comes down to coaching. That comes down to you know, preparation throughout the week. There's a lot of soul searching that's going to have to go on for the Clemson Tigers this week as they head into the ACC championship game against UNC. They still got a lot to play for when it comes to, winning the ACC again, winning an Orange Bowl game. So that's a lot to play for still. I don't expect the
yeah.
team to fall down and die. Um,
I hope not.
I hope not. No, and I think they'll respond. But I completely agree with you that, it's South Carolina's that type of fan base that it feels like they can get pretty classless. And I'm sure if you ask them, they'll say the same thing about us. It's hate between these two schools. But you're right, Nick. When it comes to, you know, talking that kind of hate and, ribbing on people and all that stuff, dude, students on students, whatever, it doesn't matter. But there's never a reason to be, berating children and mothers
Yeah.
when they're just trying to enjoy the game. It's just not called for, not needed. Um, so it's a shame. It's a shame that they're not able to handle a win with those fans. At least we're not able to handle a win with grace. Um,
And I mean, my
but I mean,
clapback
it
to
is
him
what it
is
is.
my clapback to him was little brother has to win every once in a while, right?
Yep. I mean, the streak had to end at some point. Uh, both beating South Carolina and the home win streak. I agree with you, Nick. It absolutely sucks to lose to South Carolina. My only hope at this point is that going forward, this is kind of treated like the West Virginia loss, kind of treated like the Bama loss with Kelly Bryant, where the team realizes that and the coaching staff realizes that there's a lot of things that need to be addressed
Yeah.
and fixed, whether that means staffing changes, personnel changes on the offense and defense, whatever it is. Um, there's a lot to button up, and we'll see what they can do about that. But there are still some good highlights. Like I said, Will Shipley, being a dude, that guy is just awesome. Just give that guy the ball as much as you can, I think. KJ Henry, did you see the stat line, Nick? 11 total tackles for KJ Henry. As a defensive end, that's nuts. That's absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
He
Um,
he's been
So
a
KJ
one of
Henry,
our
final game in the Valley, he went out playing his heart out.
he's been one of our best players just in general all year, and I'm very happy for him because he's put in the work, and he's honestly he's earned it. So uh, KJ, one of my favorite players. I'm very happy for the success that he's been able to find.
KJ is one of those guys who he came in same class I think as Xavier Thomas, um, and he redshirted his freshman year. He went up to coach and said, "I'm not ready. I need to get bigger. I need to get stronger."
And you never
Redshirted
see
his
that.
freshman year, and it turned out to be the best decision ever because he has just turned into an absolute stud. You know, a lot of the stuff he does, the quarterback hurries, the pressure he puts on the team on the opposing team's offense, not seen in the stat line, but the dude is a football player. He is awesome.
Yeah,
Um, Jeremiah Trotter too, big pick six to start the game. Felt like that was a big momentum play. He's just continue him, Barrett Carter, continuing to develop each week. Only sophomores. Those guys are going to be insanely good by the time they leave Clemson.
Jeremiah Trotter just he his ascent this year, especially like I feel like I don't remember, but I feel like he's more come on um since like the middle of the year. But Jeremiah Trotter has seen a lot of success this year. Him,
Hmm.
I think we get Barrett Carter back for sure next year, right? Like he's only a sophomore.
They're both sophomores. They have to come back one more year at
Yeah,
least.
so those two at line, I think Trenton will go to the draft, which I think he should. Those two leading the linebacker group, you got to feel confident in the way that they're playing this year. They've been arguably, if you take out KJ, they've been arguably our two best defensive players. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting. It will be interesting to see. Speaking of the defense and people leaving and whatnot, it will be interesting to see who stays and who goes, and like Brian Brzee, Miles Murphy, guys who I think have been regarded as top picks, but have either been hurt or been a little inconsistent this year. So we just got to see if they still feel like they have a good draft or if they should come back and just play another year. So it will be interesting to see just how much the defense changes from this year to next year.
Hmm. Yep. Uh, Tough game. Overall, that defense played great, played their hearts out, did what they could. Still had some miscues. I think Makuba had a pretty bad game, and all things said. He's had a bit of a rough sophomore year. He's
It's been
gotten beaten
very
a couple of times. Seems like he's just not seen the coverage that he needs to be in. So hopefully he can get coached up and get in the film room and figure those things out. Because I think really it's a mental thing for him, just making sure that he's recognizing the right defenses. But you know, you're gonna get burnt sometimes, and you know he gets pulled off when he lets up a big play, gets yelled at, gets coached up, gets back in, and keeps playing. That's what you love to see. Um, when it comes to coordinators wise, I think you know Wes needs to work on those in-game series to series adjustments. I
yeah.
felt like he's done a great job with. I don't know how you feel like, but I feel like he's done a great job with halftime adjustments. But the in-game ones, it seems like if we get hit with a play, um, that we're not quick enough really to then address that and cover that off the next couple of series. It takes a little bit before that gets recognized and sorted out. I think that's something that comes with experience, but definitely something that to point out that the defense needs to work on.
Yeah, I there's some I definitely agree with you there. And there are just some moments where like that 4th and 1 play. In my head, I'm like, we better keep someone back just in case they throw the ball deep and lo and behold, take it to the 1 yard line. I don't know if like, and it was just like this weird feeling that I had. I can't even describe it, but it just felt like it was coming. And it sucks that they beat us on that. I think he's done a good job overall. It's hard following Brent Venables, and it's definitely not easy playing these caliber of offenses because the ACC does have some good offenses, but I feel for the most part he's done well. I do agree his halftime adjustments have been good. Just want to see more from the drive to drive. But it's not to understate it, but his players play for him, which is important. So I think we made the right hire on the defense's coordinator spot. I can't say the same about offense, but defense, I think we it's not. I think it'll get better, and it's already pretty
Mhm.
good. So I think we nailed that one. Just offensive coordinator.
So you brought up the next thing I wanted to talk about. Why don't you go ahead and take the lead here? What do you think about offensive coordinator wise, Brendan Streeter this year? I mean, we've got now 12 games worth of uh film to point to uh with the job that he's done this year. What do you think?
I mean, the thing that gets me is that there are some games where like you could tell something was off, and unfortunately, it just didn't seem like anybody on the sideline could feel that as well. And this is an offense that's averaging 34 points a game and 406 yards, so you'd think that that would be good, but it's there. I mean, the passing offense is 218 per game. I think at a school like Clemson is right now, you kind of expect it to be more around 250, 275 at the least. I mean, I'm looking at North Carolina and Clemson stats right now put up next to each other. North Carolina's offense only averages 80 more yards a game. So you think that's maybe what, one good drive? But their passing is 320.9 yards a game. So that's almost 100 yards better per game. And the rushing's only 28 less than ours. So it's like, I don't know. It's frustrating. And Drake May is a Heisman candidate. He should be at least. 3,847 yards, 35 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's what you expect at what's supposed to be the premier ACC school. Our guy's DJ is 2,511 yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And that's market. And the thing is, that's markedly better than last year. I think that when it came to offensive coordinator, we should have gone outside. I think Tony Elliott was a great coordinator for a very long time. I think that towards the end, people started to figure out what was going on and were able to scheme for it. And when you hire someone that runs that same scheme, and Streeter, who was his, I think it was a prodigy, like they figured it out and they know what's coming. So it's not like you're hiring someone to bring a new. It's going to be the same place, and people now know how to stop it. So it just seemed like defensive coordinator. That's one thing to change because every defensive coordinator blitzes differently. They have different calls. They have different tendencies. That's typical on the defensive side of the ball. Offensive side, if he's running the same system, that's going to be the same plays. Teams have a year of film on how to stop it. And credit to the other teams that have been able to use that film and stop our offense this year. I think offensive coordinator, it's more important to go outside to just bring in new ideas, keep it fresh. And I think that's what we need to do. I like Brandon Streeter. He's a good guy. I just think that it's not working. So
Yeah. I mean, I think that what we've had, what we've been told and heard throughout this entire year is we're not seeing it translate from practice to the field. And on it, that falls on the coaching staff, that falls on the players too. Obviously if you got to perform on game day, but I don't think we're going to question that this team wants to play, wants to win. You can hear it in their voices after this game, how much it hurts. So what the question now comes, what is going on throughout the week? What is going on with game planning that we are not setting ourselves up for success? I mean, you look at the Notre Dame game plan. That was, and I get it. I get that the weather was weird that game, but you've got two studs at running back and Big DJ to run, and you don't want to run. This team is a running football team. You look at it. We were 56-0 or something like that. Some crazy or 72. I don't know how many wins we had that it was a lot to a little when we rushed for over 200 yards. I mean, it's being played over the loudspeaker before the game, saying this is the key to the game. We got to run the ball. This is our stats when we run the ball like this. When we have more first downs. When we do all this, when we have a 100-yard rusher, like all that stats we had that this game, and we didn't, and we didn't win. And you look at it, and if you look at it from the situational standpoint, you're getting yourself stuck behind the sticks. All of a sudden, you've got a drive that's 3 plays, that's all 3 passes because you're not able to move the ball when passing it. I get that you don't want to be one dimensional and have them key on the run. They couldn't do it anyway. They were selling out to stop the run, and Shipley was still averaging 9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Go with the guy. Go with it. I don't get it. And then the other thing there is what's going on with the wide receiver development, because last year we had a bunch of drops. It was insane. And I put that on the receivers. I defended DJ for that last year. Then this year, it's more of the same. You look, especially this game specifically, and this is what Streeter's pointing to is we had a lot of untimely drops. Why is that happening? What's going on in their that's mental. That's not physical.
Yeah.
These guys have all the physical traits, but it's a mental thing to say that you can't make the catch when it matters most. I mean, heck, we're calling that out during our these pregame videos, before they run down the hill with Ben Board. Best video I've seen all year. I've seen all my time at Clemson to preview the hill. It's fantastic. Great. Talks about all of the stuff, that makes Clemson special, goal line drive, goal line stop after goal line stop, making the catch when it matters most. Um, playing for you and your brothers and all that other stuff that just, feels so Clemson. And then you get to the game and it's like, it's just painful. It feels like you're grinding up your food really, really slowly, and you're playing with it, and you're not. You're there. To me, it's like the offense just doesn't have the killer attitude to put a team away. They just don't. We dropped out. We jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. We're up 23-14 at half. You got to come out and you put the team away. You have the dudes to do it, and it's just not happening. So I think we're all frustrated. Um, it's still a team that I know we will rally behind and love. Um, because these guys have put in so much work and effort in the off season and through this. But I think that the coaching staff has a lot to answer to, a lot to do. I mean, I'm going to point out the Streeter comments after the game, where he's basically gaslighting the fans and pointing to all the other guys just to defend DJ. At one point you got to just say, look, we made bad play calls. We didn't do what we were supposed to do. Didn't get in the right positions. And own it. You got to have the accountability because you're the adult in charge. You're the guy who the buck needs to stop with.
Yep. It's just frustrating that it's 2 years in a row where we feel like our offense is just broken. So I remember when before Brent was there, and even in the early years when he was getting established, we were an offensive team, and you expected the offense to score a ton of points, and it was just in a shootout. Now we've grown accustomed to relying on the defense, which is good and well and everything. But I mean, our offense was still scoring a ton of points. Now that they're not, it puts even more pressure on the defense, and that's. I just want the offense to be fun again. I want to go into a game and not have to worry about can we score 21 today? Because you take away the pick six by Trotter and the safety, we only scored 21 points yesterday on a South Carolina defense that is not that good, especially at our so-called strong suit. That, like you said earlier, with the running and how our strong suit is running, and we're however many know when we ran for 200 yards. We went to the passing. I remember at least 2 drives where we went 3 and out where they were all passing. Not going to win a game like that. So I think got to get a little more from the players. Not all of them, just some of them. I'm not going to bash them individually because I mean I understand the how hard it is, and I couldn't do what they do. So I'm not going to sit here and just say like, oh, they should be better, but the coaches 100% should be better. It's their job to get them as ready as possible, and I feel like they haven't been doing that.
Mhm. Well, I think that's all Nick and I have the stomach for today. We're gonna go cry on our pillows a little bit longer, and get ready for UNC this week. So, but as always, guys, still a lot to play for. So let's go Tigers.
Go Tigers.